All right, everybody, how you doing?
That was actually really enjoyed this podcast today. Like I thought, I was thinking at first, like probably a lot of our listeners will when they see VA home loan on the description, that it's like, what's this going to be about?
I know exactly.
But Mike was just so informative and comfortable and just outgoing that he made it enjoyable for me. I learned stuff.
I think the basics that you need to know, I think he put out there.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then we got to know a little bit about him. I didn't know he was into some of the things he was into.
Oh, yeah. So, that the Cooks of the Valley thing is huge.
Yeah, so that's cool, man. That's a good show.
I almost, rolling into these ads, make sure we talk about our sponsors, but Mike and Sherry have been one of our sponsors from the beginning, and it was great. Like, I don't know that I really need to add much more to it today. I think it's going to be good for our listeners to really get the idea of how passionate they are about helping veterans and helping active duty, as he pointed out, active duty service members if they want to get a home. This is the best ad for him you're ever going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
For more information on Agape Mortgage, you can get in touch with Mike and Sherry at their website, which is www.agapemtgco.com. Or give them a call, as you'll listen to today. Really easy to talk to and really willing to help. 661-324-2427 is their phone number. Our other sponsor, Linda Manalis, who was not here today, but I'm sure she would give us an amazing review and also help herself with the advertising, help me with the advertising. We need to have Linda come on and then talk about that'd be fun. That'd be a good episode to do. But Linda knows how to find that home. So you go to Mike and Sherry, get the VA home loan, and then you go and you find that home. For more information on Linda, check her out at www.lindabanalis.com or call the Bakersfield Real Estate Group and ask for Linda at 661-368-3770.
All right, everybody, hit the music.
When a new enemy attacked America on the morning of September 11th, 2001, they had unknowingly awoken a sleeping giant.
From all over the nation, men and women left their family and friends, their lives and their home, and answered the call to arms.
They came from north, south, east, and west. They became soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen.
As of today, hundreds of thousands of Americans have served for what is now their nation's longest war.
More and more of them are returning home, fighting new and personal wars on many different fronts.
But they are not alone, and they are not forgotten. Their battles are our battles. And while they fight these battles,
we are their Overwatch.
All right, everybody, fall in. Hey, welcome to Overwatch. I'm Chad, man. Joined beside me is Joe and Evan.
Hey,
welcome back to another episode. This episode is going to be released on July 3rd, so this is our kind of in short 4th of July episode. So we're pretty, we're all getting ready for the holiday, getting ramped up for that, right?
That's right. Getting the fireworks all gathered up. And no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Exactly.
Not in the county of Kern.
We're in a horrible
anyway,
drought.
Right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I would never do that.
That would be horrible. So happy 4th of July, everybody. You
Happy
listening
4th.
to this. Hope you guys have a good weekend. If you're listening to this on the 3rd, it means hopefully you joined us last night at Lengthwise on July 2nd.
Man, wasn't that an amazing get-together? We had such a great turnout.
We hope so. We're obviously recording this ahead of time, so hopefully you got to listen to this and you joined us, and everything went well, and we had a good time, and everything...
I know we had a great time last night because I always have a good time at Lengthwise.
Yeah, Chad, I think we need to talk about how you got out of control last night.
Oh,
I mean, that just...
yeah, so anyways, happy 4th of July, everybody. Today our guest is one of our sponsors, Mr. Mike George from Agape Mortgage. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So 4th of July, it's we had the episode on Memorial Day, kind of talking about what it meant to us, as service members, as veterans. Kind of the same lines, I guess, at 4th of July. I mean, what exactly it means to be an American for us, the freedoms that we appreciate. I mean, when it boils down to it, the whole reason I think all of us enlisted in the first place or, served our country was because we appreciated those American values so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did it for the college.
Yeah.
I did it for the TRICARE. Come on.
Technical skills.
I needed some TRICARE in my life. No, but
Nobody needs TRICARE in their life.
but yeah, man, the PT belt. I did it. There's something about wearing that PT belt that.
Or the Dependa.
Well, yeah.
No,
did you guys see that in the Army
We're
Times?
not supposed to talk. It was on all the Times. It was on the Marine Corps Times. The only difference was the Marine Corps Times was red, and then the Army Times one was green.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Was it in the Navy? Because I didn't see the Navy. I saw the Marines and the Army.
Nobody reads the Navy Times.
So, yeah. They even have Navy Times?
I'm pretty sure they do.
GQ, I think.
Air Force just has...
very nice.
Whatever Bruce Jenner was on. What was that? Sorry, guys, I'm just messing with you.
High Times.
Very good. High Times.
But, 4th of July has always been big to me just because it's like the one day a year where, everyone actually gets together and, like, appreciates this country. Not everyone does it, especially right now. I mean, not everyone does it, on a daily basis. But 4th of July is that one day where the whole country does come together, Yeah,
it's one of the few holidays where people still take off of work, and a lot of places are closed. Although... less and less as the years go by, but
and not just only get off. I mean, there are those days that definitely government offices are closed, President's Day and everything, but no one really does anything for those. I think it's that combination of taking off for work and everybody pretty much does something along the lines of celebrating. Now, I think sometimes though it's more automatic for some people. I know for me sometimes even it's like, oh, it's 4th of July. We're supposed to barbecue and light fireworks off, and not really think about not really think about what it's about or read a history book or anything like that, but it's still recognized.
It makes you wonder how many people actually know at least one line of the Declaration of Independence. You know what I mean?
Well, don't ask me. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it just boils down to the right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right? I mean, that's what this whole nation was founded upon. It was like individual rights, and you see that right now. It's going around pretty much right now. I mean, just with what is allowable as Americans, with different things that we have to accept or not accept based on our own individual freedoms.
Right.
One thing that stood out to me recently, in military wise, is that colonel who I think he was first ID or fourth ID. I can't remember. Wesley would know if he was here. But anyway, so he pretty much saying that like guys who went to combat and earned combat badges, such as like your CIB, your CAB. I believe it's even airborne wings and air assault wings and deployment patches.
I think it's anything besides unit designated.
Unit designated and the flag. Like you can't wear it now. And I thought it was just in training environments, but apparently it's in garrison too. And the reason being is because they don't want to offend new leaders and new soldiers, or not. Maybe offend isn't the word. They want to make morale high so that no one seems better than the rest. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you earned that. You know what I mean? It should be,
So this guy probably wouldn't have done so well around World War II. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Remember that scene in Band of Brothers where the replacements come in and the guys are getting their Purple Hearts, and the one guy's giving a story, the ballad of the Purple Heart, and the other guy and the replacement cheers. And everybody stops and they give him a hard time, like you weren't there, man.
Right. Oh yeah, because he was wearing the presidential or the unit citation too.
Yeah.
And he's like,
the National Defense Ribbon.
Right.
National Defense Ribbon. He's like, where'd you get that?
You weren't there, and so they took him off.
Right.
That's actually a really good analogy about, because that's exactly what's going on.
Yep.
Is that guys? I'm not sure. I never saw that with anybody.
This is for like their camis, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it Class A's dress uniforms?
I know, like
as well?
in the Marines don't wear anything. Right. I mean, it's name.
Yeah. So in garrison, so in garrison, like
rank.
If we were wearing like camis or digis or ACUs, whatever, we would have all of our badges we earned alongside our unit patch and our name. So everything you guys would have, it we would have like our
we would wear it
or CIB.
Right. Yeah. Because we only
everything.
wear it on like dress uniforms,
right?
Camis.
We wear it every
so we'd wear a lot, not quite as bad as the Air Force, but we would still, so all your badges and not ribbons or medals
patches,
or anything like that.
They're like patches.
They're like patches, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, apparently you can't do it with this guy's unit, and he's a colonel, so I don't know if he's a brigade element or a brigade size. If he's a full bird, I really didn't look into it. I just kind of read the first paragraph and was like, that's some BS. But going back to the whole 4th of July thing, it's like, you have national pride, you have patriotism, you join the military, you earn certain things, and then you're told you can't wear it. That just doesn't sit well with me. You know what I mean? Especially you guys don't wear it like you're saying, but we do.
Well, it'll probably, you'll have that generational shift where the guys who did earn it and now are being told they can't wear it will EAS, and then everybody will just start that way, and it will be accepted. I think at that point, it'll be like there was no difference for them. So these guys that are joining now that rule has been passed, will eventually be the only ones.
But I think it's more of an underlining problem when you think about the 4th of July. People came to be independent, to be able to live out their life because people are different, and that's okay. They celebrated those differences. But now there's this dramatic push that nobody can be different. Everybody has to be the same.
Yeah,
and that's this real push for this guy's unit is, no, we want everybody to be the same. And to a certain extent, everybody is the same. Everybody deserves the same respect. They wear the uniform. They raise their right arm or right hand. Or
they all live by the same policy, the same,
Yep. But there are differences within that.
Right.
And people within the policy of the Army, within the what's the AR 670-1, which is the dress code basically for the Army. It says what's allowable, and then this guy's taking it a step further and saying, no, nobody in our unit can be different from one another.
I think during the Stolen Valor episode, I mentioned that when I first came in, the first time I saw somebody with the CIB, I was like, I want that. I want to earn that.
Yeah,
I want to earn that because that's what I joined for, And now it's like I think you're taking that away from younger enlisted guys and even young like PLs and young lieutenants. You're taking that away because it seems like, to me at least, you're taking something away that like they want to strive for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that they want to earn. They want to have that. So I don't know.
I will say we just without. No, I never had him, so it wasn't. It was never like, oh, they're taking something away from me. But we knew, like, oh, that he went to combat or whatever, like he did this or he did that, and you wanted.
Well, yeah, because he got it tattooed on his arm or something like that.
But you wanted to be salty, you know what I mean? That was you wanted your camis to be faded. Basically,
right.
That was the thing.
Come here, highway.
Right? Yeah. I remember when they did the changeover to the digital camouflage uniforms. Everyone who still had like tricolors was just holding on to them, and that was almost the same kind of thing where they're like, yeah, no, I'm a tricolor Marine. I'm not a digi Marine, and. So, those things are always going to be out there. Whether or not you're wearing badges or whatever, people are still going to know, like, oh, that guy's... Like, I went straight to Iraq, pretty much. I mean, I went to infantry school and then Kuwait for the invasion. And we got, like, replacements, basically, when we were in... So after, like, the invasion, we got kind of our FOB in Najaf, and we got some guys there. And they felt it. I mean, because like they come into like even the PFCs were salty at that point. The ones who had gone through the combat phase. So it was like, that desire to earn that was still there, but it was we didn't have the badges for it. But I can see if they're taking something away from you, that would be difficult.
It's just the first time I think in a long time where especially since the war started in 2001. That something like that's been done. So it was just like drastic. I know a lot of us read that online and we're like, wait,
well, they're going to start making those moves, man.
The
more we shift away from like major conflicts and stuff, those moves are going to start being made again. And,
we got to occupy the guys with something, right?
Yeah, garrison.
So it's Colonel David Hodney, HODNE. He's full bird colonel.
First ID or fourth? I can't remember.
It is. So it's Fort Carson. So that's fourth ID, right?
Fourth ID. Yep. So. That's crazy, man. That's crazy, but. Mike's sitting over there like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So, basically we're talking about, the American dream, man. 4th of July. 4th of July is the, for us service members, I mean, we take it pretty serious. And as should most, if not all Americans, take it very serious. And that leads into everything about what it means to be an American, to appreciate. Some people might appreciate some values, maybe some amendments like the first and the second better than the right to, vote or it doesn't matter where you are, just as long as you appreciate different amendments and different freedoms that we have as Americans. But the one thing I think everyone wants is that American dream, and I know you say in our advertisements almost every episode, that we all want to pursue that American dream and someday have a family, have a car, have a home. And owning a home, I think, is probably the one thing that as an American, at least as a man, from my perspective, I want to own a home someday and be like, I own this, it's mine, I bought it, and that's why you're here, and that's why we want to talk to you, because we wanted to kind of get some information and kind of learn more about who you are, what you do, and maybe you can talk about the VA loan. So if you don't mind, maybe introducing yourself and telling everyone who you are.
My name's Mike George, and I co-own Agape Mortgage here in Bakersfield with my wife, Sherry. And we do all kinds of loans, but one of the things we try to focus on, because we do have a great respect, not only for the 4th of July, but for the freedoms that we have in this country. And we're involved in a lot of things locally and abroad with respect to trying to show that, because everybody should appreciate that. But what we try to help people do is just achieve that home ownership, and that's what we're here for.
Now, you got a son in the military, right?
Actually had two.
Two, okay.
Had one Marine and one Army.
Right on.
Nice.
So which was better?
I'm curious how that happened.
Did they always not get along?
Was the Marine recruiter closed at some point?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of funny, because I mean, when Nick went in, he just did it all on his own, and then when Zach went in, we found out after the fact. So, what can I say?
Right.
That happens. That's what my oldest brother did. My parents, they didn't know until the recruiters came to the house for a visit.
Oh, shoot. We ran into his ex-girlfriend's parents, says, "Hey, what do you think about Zach going in the Army?" I'm going, "What?" His mom about flipped out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Nice. I didn't even know that at all. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the VA loan, a lot of guys, most veterans, I think, don't know a whole lot about it. I know that the one thing that they do know is that, hey, I have it. You know what I mean?
Or I rate it, yeah.
I got it. And I don't even think a lot of guys know how to exactly obtain the letter of eligibility. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, certificate of eligibility.
The certificate of eligibility.
Yeah.
I mean, I know from experience. I just learned what that was in the past 8 months that I was out. I thought I just got out and I go to a certain place and it's like, oh, okay, usually, I had no idea myself, what entailed from
or
doing
that the VA actually gives you the loan.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if we can just kind of, before we do anything, just kind of go in about what it is and how it works. And, of course, Joe, if you want to, Evan, you guys probably have more experience with it than I do, because I'm just a baby, fresh out.
Hey, we're going to help you on home. Hey. No, a VA loan is, number one, it's well-deserved. I mean, it was designed for those that give us the freedoms that we talk about on 4th of July, and that's probably the most important part about it. And to get a VA loan, you have to have a DD-214, which y'all get when you get out. Either that or you're active, either one. You can do it active or afterwards. We can assist you with getting the certificate of eligibility, because we have online access as lenders. We just go online and put some information in there, and it either comes out automatic, or if they have to do some research based on your service and things of that nature, then it comes usually within a week or so.
Okay, so lenders can actually do that.
Yeah, we can make it a lot simpler for them.
So, see, I was told one time, no, you need to go do that and then bring it to us. And, okay, great.
Yeah, a lot of people we talk to, they say, well, I need to get my certificate of eligibility. And I say, oh, no, we'll do that for you. Typically, all we have to have is a copy of the DD-214, or sometimes we don't even have to have that. We just have to have your personal information, go to the VA website, and it's either automatic and it's instantaneous, or they have to do some research based on what service area you were in and when you served and things of that nature in order to issue it.
Awesome.
Now, I don't know, because I've never delved into that, but I've heard it as a guaranteed, or is that the business loan? Is a VA home loan as guaranteed, or something to do?
Yeah, basically the way to look at it is the government stands behind the bank that lends you the money.
Okay.
They actually guarantee the loan for certain amounts.
So in a way, they're kind of like co-signers.
Yeah, in essence, yeah. They're just telling the bank, hey, based on these criteria, we're going to back this. So in case something happens in the future, that we're behind it.
And it's just by DD-214. I mean, it's not based on disability rating or anything like that. I mean, it's really any veteran.
Any active duty or veteran, either one. And the one thing is, and I'm glad you brought it up with respect to the disability issue, is that when you do a VA loan, there's what they call a funding fee. And the funding fee it's not out of your pocket, it's added to the loan, but basically the government gets that for insuring your loan.
Okay.
And then, but if you have a disability, the funding fee is waived. And so there is no funding fee on the loan.
Is there a minimum rating for that disability? Do you know?
Basically, what we do when either when veterans come to us is we have to check and see what their disability is, because when we go for the certificate of eligibility now, they're actually putting it right on there. And so it's not about the rating; it's about whether they get any sort of disability compensation.
Okay.
If they get disability compensation, then the VA fee is waived. Okay. So, I mean,
that would have been handy to know a long time ago.
They know you're getting paid, so they're like, all right.
Yeah.
They got me.
Hitting on that, a lot of veterans, like myself, get a disability rating, and a lot of our income comes from that disability, right?
Yes.
And then a large part of my income, because I'm going to school right now, is my housing. And that's the one question I wanted to ask you, is that because I'm in the next 6 to 8 months, I'll be looking at buying a house and using mine. The problem I'm having, and I just went and tried to purchase a car, is that my income wasn't recognized from housing because it was based on my schooling.
It's a pension based thing, right?
Because it's non-taxable.
Like I know that I right now essentially all my income comes from that, but if but I'm counted. If there's certain programs that are available to me as a low income person, which the amount of money is not what would qualify as a low income person, but because it's pension or retire, it's a benefit instead of income. So it's that affects things. I know when same thing with car loans or something like that. We need proof of income, and I would get in there well, this isn't income,
right? Exactly.
One of the things the bank looks at future income. The type of income you're getting today, is it going to last into the future for a minimum of 3 years?
Right.
That's really what they're looking for.
Okay. Exactly. So on my BAH, because I go to University of Phoenix here locally, and it gives veterans the most BAH actually in all.
Is that basic allowance of housing or base?
It's basic housing allowance, but for some reason they call it BAH.
That's what I thought too.
I don't know. Again, that's the military jargon.
It used to be BAQ.
Yeah,
basic allowance for quarters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my question is that when the time does come for me to want to do this, I'm worried that I'm going to get there and they're going to say, well, your future income, yes, on my education benefits letter, which is a lot like the VA eligibility letter, it says I'm eligible for, I think right now as of today, 31 more months, right?
Right.
When I went to go buy a car, they told me, they said, okay, yeah, that you do have that, but you can drop out of school tomorrow, and then you won't be getting your housing. And that's
but you could quit your job tomorrow.
Exactly. So that was the huge that was for me a big letdown, because my housing actually is more than my retirement and disability. You know what I mean? So I guess the question I'm asking is when it comes time for me to buy the house, as an example. Are they going to do the same thing? I mean, because they know that where we're coming from as veterans with our housing, going to school, and
it sounds
disability.
It's not dependent on whether or not you're going to school. That it's more just you're a veteran, right?
Well, yeah, it's as a veteran, but really what they're looking at, be it whether it's pension, be it whether it's disability income, be it whether it's a regular W-2 employment income, self-employment income, or schooling, they're going to validate both history for the last 2 years and future for the next 3 years.
Okay.
So you're probably going to run into the same thing, because there's no way to qualify that income for 3 years, especially if you only have schooling for 31 months. That would automatically disqualify.
Right, exactly.
Now, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, or maybe not devil's advocate, because I know absolutely nothing about any. I'm learning on the go as far as financing goes, and so the VA. It sounds like I'm confused at whether or not it's you qualify for a loan, but does the amount change based on your employment? I mean, how much how does that affect it? Because say there's someone who's a veteran, right, and they're not employed, can they get a VA home loan, or is the government going to be like, well, you don't have any income, so you're not going to be able to pay this back? I mean,
Great question. Yeah, the VA loans actually have a formula, and basically we look at what the income is, based on history and future, and then we look on current debts. They look at it as what they call debt-to-income ratio.
Right.
And so basically you take what your proposed house payment is that you're thinking about, plus any installment or revolving debt like a car payment or credit card payments, and divide that by your gross monthly income. And so it's called debt-to-income ratio. So that's really what they're looking for. They're looking for some sort of income stability, reasonable credit history, and then based on the income that you have, how indebted will they allow you to go?
Okay,
and
so
VA has a very specific formula for that.
That affects more like the
so this
amounts
doesn't
that you qualify for. I mean,
yes.
So what they're saying is you qualify, but you might only be able to qualify for $20,000, or you might be able to. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
all
when
right.
you get your certificate of eligibility, it's going to say your eligibility is $36,000, but that isn't your loan amount. That's just a basis of how they figure it. But in Kern County, the loan limit for VA is $417,000. And so
wow,
that's a hell of a house here.
But yeah. But so yes, it's really based on how you qualify, based on your income and your debts.
So just because you're a veteran, you got a DD 214, you have a certificate of eligibility, doesn't mean you're going to be able to go down and buy a house.
That is correct.
There is and what credit score wise for a lot of guys, because this is the one thing that I get asked a lot, because I'll go around asking people.
So we're not known for our high credit scores, I think.
We can help you with that.
You take a bunch of 19-year-olds, you give them free meals, or well, not free maybe, but you give them their meals, you give them their housing,
an automatic weapon.
They don't really need a car per se, right? And then you say you're done. Go figure all this out, and so a lot of guys do get into. I mean, heck, a lot of guys do it before they get out of the military. But I mean, they end up.
They walk right outside a post and they see this big yellow
car
Mustang. Hey, they said no money down.
No money down.
Well, and then
financing at adjustable
what's the interest rate?
Like, I'm sure that rate will go down.
What's an interest rate?
And then there's those places like at Fort Bragg, they had this place called Freedom Furniture. And it was like
rent to own kind of thing.
It was like, just bring us your pay stub and we'll give you an amount. And
right.
Actually, when I was in 82nd, it was highly. I mean, like if you got in trouble with this place for not paying, or not paying them, because their interest rates was like Luke Skywalker status, man. It was like in the stars. And so guys would go and they'd get furniture, rims for their cars, stereos, and it was all just like no money down. Here's how much you have. Just set up this allotment, and so guys were running into huge financial problems. And but that's one. It's like they're sharking out to get guys. The car loans are the worst, especially right outside the gates. So guys get out, and there's this meme. We talk a lot about memes on this show, but there's this meme. There's this meme online that says, you're not a you're not a veteran if you don't have, or you're a veteran, or how to see a veteran, or some. I can't, man. I already jocked it up, but
it's like you might be a redneck if.
Yeah, you might be a redneck if, like you might be a veteran if you have bad credit, a divorce. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that a lot of veterans find themselves in that situation. When they get out.
Yeah. Which came first on that one? They do the chicken or the egg kind of thing with that.
So you said you can help guys out.
Yeah, one of the things we try to do is when we originally opened up Agape Mortgage, we got in this business to help people. And so one of the things we do is we sit down with them. I mean, they may be a year out, 2 years out from buying a home. We don't know when we sit down because we don't know what the situation is. So we just sit down and get to know them, build a relationship, find out what the situation is, and we take a look at their credit. And basically, I call it, we give them credit 101. We run them through the gamut so they understand start to finish what credit is, how it works, what you can do to make it better, what you can do to make it worse. A lot of people go out and, you got to pay all these collections off. Well, that's not so true. But anyway, we try to give them a great education so they can put a stake in the ground and start moving forward so they can achieve the goal.
Are you saying that I don't have to pay off?
The collectors
did I catch that? Anybody else catch that?
I would really like to know.
Tell us more about. Forget everything else.
How do I get them to stop
calling
me?
Tell us more about that, Mike.
Okay, we can go there. We can go there.
Yeah, let's go there.
Well, it's funny it's so funny because people come to us and maybe they had a doctored bill they didn't pay 2 years ago, or they had some goof up a couple years back.
It happens,
and what they don't know is they say, oh gosh, I'm going to go buy a house or I'm going to go buy a car and I got to pay all this collection. Well, that collection hasn't reported, say, for 2 years. Well, the problem is they run down and they think they're doing the right thing, so they pay that collection off. They re-report on the credit report. Yeah, you're paid off, you're zero balance, but guess what? The date of reporting is 2 years newer. Well, the most recent credit reporting impacts you the most, so you could actually pay a collection off and drop your credit score. And not all collections are required to be paid off to get a home loan either. It just depends on what the size of it is and what the history of it is. So, but that's what we try to do. We try to give them a great education so they understand these are the things that they need to do to get there. And we're going to help them all the way through. We've worked with people up to 2 years so they can enjoy that American dream and get their home.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think, amazing.
That's got to be pretty unique, I would imagine, in that line of work.
Yeah, some people in it for the short term. We're in it for the long haul. We've been doing it for over a decade. So, again, like I said, we're here to help people, and that's really what we strive to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So now, one thing: you are able to use the VA loan once, or you're able to use it up to a certain amount of dollars?
Well, both. But let me qualify that. Say for instance, you go out and you bought a house 5 years ago, and then you sold that house and you want to buy another house. You can pay that loan off, use the VA again, and you can buy a second house with it. In some situations, you can actually own a house and say you get transferred to another location. you can actually leave that VA loan intact, turn it into a rental if you want, and turn around and use your VA benefits. But it depends on the situation.
Right.
But yes, most definitely use your VA loan more than once.
Right. I know a lot of people are kind of confused about that, and I was able to use my VA loan. I have two rental properties in North Carolina still, and they're both on VA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it not only, it's not just once maybe, but maybe once at a time?
Well, the thing is, you can't buy or use a VA loan to buy rental property. Okay. Basically, what you do is you're using a VA loan because you're the veteran. You're the one that deserves that loan, and you get you and your family into a home, and then your situation changes, and you want to move on to either a bigger home, different home, or you move.
Yep.
Yeah, that happens
and
a lot.
so they give you the ability.
Got to stay in for 3 years,
Yeah.
I think, before you can use it again.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then the one thing I will qualify that we talked a little earlier about that funding fee that they charge. If you use it a second time, the funding fee changes. But again, it's not out of your pocket; it's added to your loan. But I want to make sure that that's clear.
We're looking right now. It's like we're starting to kind of get prepared for it. I mean, we have some loose ends we got to tie up first. I want to make sure I'm in a good position. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm using the housing right now because I'm going to college. So, it's definitely saving up for it. Getting in the right position. But hopefully by this time next year, we'll be ready to make that move.
No, one of the greatest benefits of the comment you just made, and it's great that you're saving. Two things about a VA loan. One about a VA loan and one advice. One, what I always say is number one for a VA loan, because it's so well deserved, there is no down payment required.
Right.
So it's 100% financing. But just as important, and this is the recommendation I give to anybody we meet with that's considering a home purchase, is the fact that, if you think you can afford, say $1,000 house payment, okay, prove that to yourself now.
Right.
Make sure that you're managing your funds so that you're not going to live for a house payment. The last thing you want to do is cut your life short and your lifestyle and your family's lifestyle.
Be house poor.
Exactly.
Like
be house poor. So I say, if you think you can afford it, okay, make best use of that money, and over the next, say, 3 to 6 months while you prepare, you should be able to save $1,000, or at least know where that $1,000, maybe $500 is going to rent, $500 is going to savings, or $800 is going to rent, and $200 is going to savings.
Right.
Prove it to you. Yeah, prove it to yourself.
Try to live like you would be if you.
Because I need that $500 a month rent. Where do you find that?
That's a room share.
Yeah.
We stack the kids up.
I would hope a mortgage would not be $1,395. That's kind of,
I think you'd be realistic around here.
Yeah, around Bakersfield. I don't know.
If you did no money down on a VA home loan for
$300,000,
I think you'd definitely be in that.
Yeah. Well, $300,000 would be about $1,800 payment
a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when I mean payment, that's the other thing. Clarify is that includes your principal and interest, your homeowner's insurance, and your property tax.
Tax. Right.
They call that PITI.
Thank you, because I was just going. That was one of my questions.
Out the door.
That's one of my questions. Is insurance? I mean, is that different when you use your VA loan, or is it the same based in the state you live in?
No, it's based in the state you live in and what the requirements are. But it is required to have homeowner.
And it's included.
Well, it's not. It's included in your payment. But you pick your own company.
Right.
So now, I own my home. I had an organization build a home for me.
Right.
Homes for Our Troops, and they gave me a home, and so I have no mortgage. But I came out of the barracks into, well, that's not true. I was in apartments for a little while and renting for a little while. But basically, as a first time being a homeowner, and property taxes came 1 month, kind of like, here, you owe us this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're paying a mortgage off, it's included in the payment that you have to make each month.
Right.
So I actually would probably prefer that to, especially the first time it kind of came around. People were like, "Oh, be wary of you have property taxes." And I knew that property taxes were a thing.
Yeah.
But they're like, "Here you go. You owe us $4,000 this month."
Yeah, it helps you. It helps you manage it when it's included.
Yeah, when it's
but it's just a one-time thing, like in your case, right?
Yeah. So like I think they do split it into two. So they're like, in December you owe us $2,000, and in April or March you owe us the other $2,000 kind of thing.
November 1st and February 1st.
Yeah,
now that's just for the year, right?
That's for the whole year.
And then the next year will be the same thing.
Sometimes it goes up a little bit.
It doesn't go down.
It doesn't go down.
They build a new school, even if your kids don't go to it.
The road
I don't know. In 2008, 2009 it went down, but I'm just saying.
Well, that's how we're paying for all these roads to get oiled out here. I think that's so stupid. I don't know. I'm sorry. What is the point of that? What is the point of that? I mean, I've been gone 10 years.
I think it keeps them from cracking. in
Really?
the heat, in the
Yeah.
extreme heat in the summer.
It just makes them last longer before they have to replace them.
Go to Missouri and ask them. 'Cause
Yeah.
their roads are shattered.
Hey, so I don't know if you guys know, but big day today, 15th anniversary for you there.
15th anniversary.
Whoa,
That's
hey,
right.
happy
Thank you
anniversary.
very much. Yeah.
Which one is that? What is that?
It's right after 14.
All right, John. All
Right
right.
before the
Touche,
16th.
touche.
No,
You know, they have, like silver. I think one's paper. You know, they have,
Crystal.
It's crystal?
15th is Crystal.
Okay.
Now, did you get Crystal? So,
can't
so this is
say.
airing a week
Oh, that's
later.
right.
This is airing a
Actually,
week
yeah, I'm
later.
gonna do 15 roses in a crystal vase.
Oh, nice.
Ah, nice.
There you go.
Yeah, one
Classy.
rose for every year. And
Classy.
You were just out of town. Did you guys go out of town for that? I'm not trying to get too personal with you, but is that what the reason you went out of town?
no, actually, we go over to Pismo Beach for the car show every year on Father's Day weekend.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And all of our kids, all of our grandkids come over. I mean, between the two of us, we have 7 children and 7 grandchildren and 2 more grandchildren on the way. So it's kind of like
Very
a
nice.
once-a-year family reunion.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now you guys may or may not know, but you're also part of Cooks of the Valley, right?
Yes.
Which is an organization that supports active duty service members.
You guys go
Tell us a little
everywhere.
bit about that.
Yeah. Cooks in the Valley. Tom Antone, attorney here in town, started it about 20 years ago, and he was asked to do a little backyard barbecue, which turned out to be a little bit bigger than he thought, and it's grown from there. And we get the opportunity to go all over the world, if you will, and we buy steaks from Harris Ranch Steaks over there on I-5. We have those typically shipped, or we take them with us wherever we go, and we go all over the world and cook for active military. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, it's
Like Afghanistan, Djibouti.
yeah.
Right.
We've been to Djibouti. We've been to the Persian Gulf.
I
been
know.
to Iraq.
I know on like aircraft carriers or something like that
And
too.
in some pretty unhospitable places, right?
It was interesting. I was on the USS New York, 10 miles off the shore of Iran when they were doing the nuclear testing. Pretty cool. Barbecue and steaks. Just loving it.
Wow. I did not know
Didn't even
that.
have to cook them. Just
And
radioactively.
how hot was the flight deck on that?
Well, let's see. The first time we went over there, I was on the USS Nassau, and it was about 140 degrees on deck. And the second time I went over there in the Persian Gulf, and it was about 110. It wasn't too bad. You know what? We don't even care because we're over there and we're just trying to cook a great meal, bring a little taste of home over to our active military, and just thank them for everything they do for us every day.
That's so cool, Mike. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about that. That's awesome.
I told you they're good people.
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah,
I
they're
just-
good
that-
people.
That's
And just
good
our
stuff.
opportunity to give back. And you say 4th of July. I mean, that should mean a lot to everybody, and that's what it means to us all the time. And especially having a couple that we're in and served, and to just be able to give back. I mean, that's
Now, are
that's
they
what's
still
on.
in, or
No,
they're done?
Both of them are done.
Right
Both of
on.
them
Are they
done.
local?
Yeah, both. Well, one's up in Tulare and one's here in Bakersfield.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Moving on.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's, my brother was in Djibouti for a little bit. But 140 on a deck of an aircraft carrier? Isn't it moving? There's like wind, right? Help me figure that. I'm not the. Come on, I'm not.
They're black.
I know they're black.
The wind's good unless it's above 110 degrees. Come
That's
on.
got to be bad.
And then you
though.
have engines going,
Yeah, they got all that.
and
yeah,
then you
they
have
do,
the sun. There's no break from the sun.
Yeah, that's right.
And then that Gulf is just hot.
Yeah, it's a little.
Never
warm
been
there.
swimming in the Persian Gulf, but
No, that's.
But that was all secondary to having a good time and just feeding them.
yeah.
That was good times.
What is
Yeah,
that thing they do when they go over when they cross the? There's this weird ceremony the Navy does.
You
man.
know, right? The
And
turtleback
and
or-
they cross over the equator.
Yeah.
And it's like it looks like every single policy is broken. It's like what in the
It's
world
called
is going?
shell backing.
What is that?
Shell back.
Yeah, turtleback,
Um,
whatever.
It's an old naval tradition. They actually, I'm jealous of like our good friend Casey and a couple of our other friends have done it, and they give them like Casey. If you ask him, he has a little like wallet-sized card that's got pictures of the Kraken and octopus, giant squid on it. It goes back a long ways. But yeah, it's crossing the equator, and then you become I might be getting this wrong, but I think it's called golden shellback. Like if you do it twice, or if you cross the equator on like both hemispheres. What is it? Like there's you go
Eastern
in on
The equator and then the meridian,
something
the
like
prime
that.
meridian.
Yeah. But they basically it comes from the Navy. So Marines get to do it sometimes if they're on a ship, but they just haze you essentially. From what I understand, they make you do like just crawl through. They save up a week's worth of the disposed food from the chow hall and make you low crawl through it and just call you names and everything. They can,
Yeah, I saw people
you're a
in
shellback.
bathtubs, man, like those little not bathtubs, those little blue
Like
swimming
kiddie
pools,
pools,
and they were like hosing them off, and I'm like, what in the world?
I think it's just like, I don't think it's a challenge really, but at the end you get to say like, oh, I'm a shellback, and you get to drink or something. I don't know. And they have shellback, so you'll see like shellback rum is a brand of rum now.
How many
shellback rum? When you need a rum, reach out for shellback rum. Hey, shellback rum.
How many shellback tattoos do you think are out there?
There's probably a lot of shellback tattoos.
Wow.
That's all they got really.
Mike, did you do that when you were on the ship? Did you guys go across?
Well, not that I remember anymore.
he's like, I would remember that.
I don't think there was any alcohol on the ship. Well, actually, there was, but
But
they
if
couldn't
you could
serve it.
explain this tattoo to me, I had no idea what it meant.
I woke up with this.
That's pretty cool. So, do you guys? Is it mostly? I mean, have you served for like all the branches? I mean, it's just you just kind of get. Like, how do you go about even getting access?
I am curious. I met Tom years ago, and he was talking about it and how the change went from, like you said, backyard barbecue kind of thing to being on military installations and even carriers. Is
Even to the White House, right? You guys did. You were at the White House.
That I couldn't answer. Joe, I don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to look on my apron. It's got all the different locations on it, but I don't recall.
Oh, cool! You got an apron with
right.
all that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah,
I started my own apron. So it just has a stupid Captain America.
I'm sure it has a combat infantry badge.
Service members get tattoos and cooks get aprons.
Yeah, we get well every time we go. We have new aprons printed up with all the locations we've been on from the previous. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's actually really cool.
Now, how often do you do this year?
It just depends on what events are going on. A lot of time we do it on the East Coast for the Navy SEALs and West Coast for the Navy SEALs, and actually on.
Now, is that for their like movie premieres or what do you do?
Are they wearing their UGT shorts?
Actually, we go to the muster in Florida for all the pass active, all the way to the UDTs.
Yeah,
a lot of those guys are there, and some of the current guys are there, and it's really fun to sit and visit with them and just listen to the stories. It's just amazing. But we don't have specific set events. It just depends on. We've got such a reputation now that the military seeks us out for different areas of the nation, different events that are going on.
And that's all volunteer. You guys are volunteering your time. You even pay your own way to go and do these things.
We
right?
pay for all the steaks. We pay for all the seasoning, all that. Matter of fact, we're going to go down mid-August to San Diego, and there's actually going to be 3 aircraft carriers there at one time.
Nice.
And we're going to go down and we're going to barbecue for them.
I just read something on that recently. It's like the first time in a long time.
First time in a long time.
Where you've had 3 of them posted up like
Are
that.
they refitting them, or is it?
I don't know.
Some kind of movement they're doing.
I don't know.
Sounds
I
like prime
think
time
one's
for an
refitting,
attack.
one's coming in, one is going out.
So
like,
what you're
aren't
telling
they-
me is there a lot of ladies of the night are flying into San Diego on that weekend from the states abroad to make their money for the year.
Ladies are listening to this, going like, "Pause, let's go." But
I didn't realize our steaks had that good of a following.
Yeah. They're not there for the sailors. They were for the steaks.
Of course they are.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we just enjoy it because, especially when we're abroad, because we get to, thank them and shake their hands and get to know them and talk about their families and, what they're going to do and what they've done and where they're from. And, yeah, it's just a great time. Fantastic.
Nice. You've never been to Afghanistan?
I haven't personally. The last 3 I signed up for, they canceled all 3 of them due to military issues. So, but we've been over to Afghanistan, but I personally have not.
Well, we canceled the end of the war probably at least that many times.
It's over. Oh wait, sorry. It's that stinking Taliban. They're back again. Those pesky kids. If it wasn't for you.
I like reading articles where like they fight with ISIS. It's like they're fighting with each other right now over like. And
it's mainly on Facebook, though. I think they're like, "No, you are not as good as us."
On the other side of that, I heard that there are folks that we have on the terror list that are fighting with Iraqis against ISIS now. So there are guys that we're actually actively hunting.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like with Iran. Like, and Iran's the only.
It's one big
they're
family.
like the major force fighting ISIS. Like.
Yeah.
The Quds force is like now like fighting our enemies too.
Darth Vader has come over to the
right. He killed the. He's fighting the Emperor now. Yeah.
Well, it is like one of those movies.
Father, save me!
It is like one of those movies where it's like where the bad guy's like, okay, I'm going to help you, but not because I want to. You know what I mean? The world's upside down, man.
ISIS, I am your father. No, you're not.
I made a joke. I was like. It's appropriate enough. Yeah. I made a joke though. I was like, ISIS and Al Qaeda's fighting, and Haqqanis are all fighting each other. It's like, well, there's only enough goats to go around out there in Afghanistan, man. I mean, you can't. Wah, wah, wah. Someone's listening to this and you're laughing. You know you're laughing. Wesley be laughing if he was here.
Yeah,
he's got that lowbrow sense of humor that works for him.
He'd be dying. Well, thanks, Mike. We really appreciate it.
I learned something, so
yeah.
I know for sure that our listeners will be learning something too.
You got anything special coming up? Any deals or great events for veterans? What do you got coming on the horizon? Quick, make something up.
Gosh, let's see. Gonna go cook some steaks in the middle of August. What can I say?
Right on.
Now, VA loan is good for any veterans, past and active, anytime.
I'll be contacting you guys. We're thinking like 8 months. That's our hard time that we sit down. So
Awesome.
We're really wanting to get into our home.
Awesome.
My wife isn't too hot on buying here in Bakersfield necessarily.
Why would she be too hot on buying here just because it's so hot? Or
yeah,
I mean, what's the deal here? Come on,
exactly.
Hot
Every time
prices.
summer rolls around, the wives start going.
It's supposed to be 108.
Like, maybe we should move.
108 on Friday. Yeah,
we're so miserable. We left Alaska, and we were going to stay there, and this is our first real summer here, and it's horrible.
It's not pleasant. Yeah,
no, man, it's bad. We're still not used to it. I think last year we had a month. I got back in August, so we had a month of like kind of miserable-ish heat. For us, at least, it was. And then now it's bad. We never go outside. We do everything at night. We clean the house at night. We grill late at night.
Yep.
I mean, during the day, it's just everything. We went and bought blackout curtains. I mean, it's bad. Like it's horrible.
You own the night.
Yeah, we are. We're nocturnal.
So, right on. Well, thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been great. Really.
And thank you for the
educational
sponsorship.
for me.
And thank you for the sponsorship. This podcast means a lot, to us.
How did you enjoy the party last night?
Oh, it was awesome. But I don't know. I think Chad did get a little out of control.
Yeah. That thing at the end where the dartboard's
out.
Yeah, that got a little out of hand.
Okay.
Well, he was all, look at my turtle bag. Look at my turtle bag.
I crossed the equator.
Throw your darts in my turtle bag.
Someone get me some dirty food I can crawl through.
I think it was the turtleback rum myself.
Actually, that does sound like something Casey would probably do. He's gonna be like, "You're not a shellback. Someone give me some a kiddie pool and some whipped cream, and we'll make this happen."
Suddenly, I'm out there just in front of all my family and friends, just getting hammered by food. And Casey's like, "You're not a shellback."
For our listeners, Casey did go to Camp Pendleton recently, and granted, he's been out of the Marine Corps for 10 years, and decided to haze junior Marines.
Wesley was with him.
Yeah, Wesley was with him too. Wesley will have to tell us a little bit more about that next time.
I don't understand even how that went down, because I know if
he
I
just got on base
and
all of a sudden sees and they listened to
it's
him.
It's that retired ID.
I guess there are those guys who join the military because they need someone to tell them what to do, and I guess it just worked for Casey. His authoritative voice.
I'm just like, man, like how did that? Because I know it's the Army.
I would have just been how
did staff duty even know how that happened?
Yeah.
I guess like the staff duty was just wild. You guys don't call it staff duty. You call it.
Yeah, we have like officer on duty.
Yeah.
And then there's people. There's like there's corporals,
an NCO.
really NCO on duty at each barracks. Yeah.
That would have never flew in any unit I was in. But I mean, I look at it and I'm like, that's funny. Like I kind of, if I was the NCO on duty, I probably would allow it for a little bit. I mean, if it's not too bad,
until they start puking.
Right. Yeah. Then it's time to cut it off. Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for sharing your information. Any veterans out there, you know how to get a hold of Mike. All his contact information is on our website at overwatchpod.com. If you have any questions, well, your website is
AgapeMTGCO.com.
Okay, and that's how you can locate Mike and get some information if you're looking to buy a house. If not, just message us on the show and we'll get you pointed in the right direction. All right. For Joe, for Evan, this is Chadman. Mike, thank you. We're out.